Our house opens on Christmas Eve. Nora Hammer enters her well-furnished living room, carrying several packages. Torvald, Nora's husband, hears her arrive. He greets her, but then he gets at her for spending so much money on Christmas gifts. Nora went to get gifts for the kids, but he didn't like that she was spending so much money. Then he ended up finding out that she was borrowing money from one of his co-workers, which that he didn't like. The man wrote him a letter letting him know because Nora was taking too long with paying him back. But then that's when it came to them getting separation. He got at her for borrowing the money. He said mean things to her and everything. But she was already fed up with him because she felt like a doll. She felt like that's how he treated her. She didn't want to be treated like this. She was ready to be treated with good respect and all that. So she ended up leaving him and her kids. So this is a poem we learned in class. How this go with what we learned, because it go with motifs, literary devices, themes, and all that. Such as themes are good versus evil, friendship, forgiveness, anger, death, survival, religion, honesty, kindness, acceptance, family, cultural tradition, fears, fate, jealousy, pride, peace, hard work, loneliness, equality, sharing, and time. These could go back to with the story. Literary devices deal with dialect, drama, flashback, free verses, foreshadowing, figure of speech, violent action, homophone, half rhyme, internal rhyme, lyric poem, myth, narrative poem, sonnet, sound devices, suspense, tragic hero verses. All these is what we learn went with every poem we read, which is Lord of the Flies, Trifles, Frankenstein, Grendel. All that what we learned. Then we learned about AP testing tips, which is AP's multiple choice. When you're looking at multiple choices, you got to decide in advance in what orders to address the question: reading comprehension, inference, explanation, identifying figurative language, interpreting figurative language, literary techniques, overall passage, question, structure, grammar. When you're looking for tips for the writing exam, you look for memorizing key events, facts, and names. Organize your ideas. Organize your supporting points. Begin quickly and directly, using paragraphs and topic sentences, using quotation and explain them. Create variety examples. Find the right word. And practice writing. You should practice writing a lot when you're doing your AP test, because those where you get the most points from the writing portion. Then I will go back to motifs. I will tell you what a motif is. It's a literary element used repeatedly in one text. Motifs are things that reoccur in the story, which things that reoccur back in the dollhouse. It's dealing with good versus evil, light and dark, blood, and everything in different examples. With themes, it's the big idea and the message of the story. Just like they gave you the message of the story at the first beginning, in the middle, and the end. The motifs help you find the big idea. We have motifs in the story, like the motif in the dollhouse, the Christmas tree and decorations, letter and mail, names and nicknames that are significant, other parties and celebration. Those was the motifs. In the dollhouse, the characters was Nora, Miss Lindy, Niels Crosstad, Dr. Rank, Emma, and Bobby Helen. All of them was in the text. And then some more examples of motifs was blood, nature, clothing, light and dark, violence, sleep and sleepiness. Then a candle, which was a light in the darkness, storm, clouds, temporary darkness, a tunnel through the darkness.
So, what? Who was the central character of the Dollhouse?
Emma, no, Nora, which was the wife, Torvald, which was the husband, and Krogstad, the man that she borrowed the money from.
Hmm. So, um, what symbolism would the Christmas tree represent? What time, what place maybe does that represent that this poem is actually taking place?
It was taking place in their house, dealing with the Christmas. And that's when the part came in when she was spending too much money because that's what she was trying to do, pick packages under the Christmas tree.
Okay, so she was really kind of like spending too much money to get Christmas gifts.
Yes.
Okay, so why would her husband, why do you think that he would be upset with her spending money? What part of the story or the poem told you that he was upset?
The part told when he came, like he was already he was getting a new position in the job. He had got a new position, and he was trying to bring in more money, but she was like, keep spending it. So that's when he got mad, and he was like, she need to start spending the money. But he didn't know that she was borrowing money from his other coworker.
Okay, so that's kind of like when the poem took a climax, right? So
Yeah.
it kind of took a turn. So I guess that would make her husband mad if she studied spending money. He's trying to make money, and she's borrowing money from his
But
friend.
he didn't know about her borrowing their money. That was a secret. But the man got mad and told her. He really didn't want to tell it. He tried to get the letter back, but the letter was already at Torvald's mailbox.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't unlock it. Torvald, the only person in the maid that could unlock it.
Okay.
So he was already there to unlock it. So he had already got the letter. They read it. He said, Torvald said awful things to his wife.
And so though that brought up the motifs of you mentioned a few motifs in your storyline that you have learned centrally. So what motifs would that scene or those subjects be representing at that moment?
That could be like anger, and it could be sometimes, I think, fear, because it is scary for her husband to find out that she had been borrowing money.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll bring it was good in there, so I say good versus evil, because he found out a good part to make him apologize to her, but he was evil because she did it. So there was a point in there too.
Okay. So would you also think that it was a good thing that she was doing it for good, right?
Yeah.
Because she wanted to make sure that her family was maybe straight for the Christmas holiday.
Yeah.
Is there any other reflection of a motif or anything
And
in
then
reference?
she was trying to make sure another family member was straight too.
Okay, so
make sure he was straight. She was borrowing money for that purpose too.
okay.
So she was borrowing the money for a good reason, but he was still mad because she was doing it behind his back. She didn't let him know that she was borrowing the money. She just borrowed the money behind his back.
Okay.
So.
Are there any more motifs that can go along with this literary work?
I would say, what motif can I use? Like, it was dealing with, I say, nature.
Okay. Because I mean, it's a natural mechanism, defense mechanism, to get mad or upset when you're trying to do something and somebody is kind of like
doing something
behind your back or going over your head, doing something.
Then I would say it's a tragedy too, because how everything came, how he found out everything at one time. He found out everything, then they separated. He didn't want to be. She didn't want to be with him no more. So there was a tragedy to leave him and the kids. She thought the kids would be better off with him. So she left him with the kids. So it was a tragedy too. It's not really too much good came out of it because it was sad, but that's what happened.
Okay. I heard you say something about you learned maybe some rules that you should follow when taking your AP exam or studying for your AP exam.
Yes, you should always practice. And I would say you should practice ahead of time so you can get in good practice. Like the where you get your majority of your points from is when you practice. Make sure you practice. Make sure you study. You got to begin quickly. You can't waste time. When you waste time, that's what gets you. You have to answer everything. You don't need to waste any time. You need to memorize key events that your teacher told you. Like my teacher told us to remember the background, the verb, and them things. You need to remember that. You need to use that when you, in a paragraph, you need to do your background and all that before you even start trying to write. Because you need to know what you're writing on.
Right.
And then you need to use quotations and explain them. You need to find the right words. You don't need to spell nothing incorrectly. You need to organize your ideas.
What's the importance of organizing your ideas?
To know what you're doing. You don't want to get off a track about what you're writing about.
Okay.
Because you don't want to be writing about something that don't have nothing to do with it. You need to be writing about what's dealing with that passage they gave you to do.
Right, because too much can kind of take away from the passage.
Yeah. You could put too many things in it to get off track. You can go somewhere totally different and you talking about things.
Okay. What are some other good ideas with the AP rules that you would have to follow?
With your multiple choice, you go through there. You can read your text. Anything that you know that ain't got nothing to do with it, cross it out. Because if you don't cross it out or eliminate, you'll end up putting the wrong question, putting the wrong answer. Like, you can go, they'll ask you tricky questions. So you always have to pay attention to everything when you doing with your AP. Like your inference, your explain, you need identifying figurative language. All that you need to pay attention to because you can get off track with the multiple choice too. People think just marking the answer will get you the right answer, but you can mark some that don't even have nothing to do with it.
Okay. Is there anything else in your AP rules that you want to expand on?
That's something else. With your AP, you need to, if your teacher give you vocabulary words, you really need to study them and pay attention to them because you will see them in a test. You could even, it ain't even have to be an AP test. A test your teacher give you in the room, you can see that. Anything that your teacher give you in class, you need to pay attention to it because it's going to be on the test.
Okay, so you're saying that studying your vocabulary words are essential.
Yeah.
Do you need to know the definition of it?
Yes, you need to know the definition because if you get to a word in your test, just say she put any kind of word on there. Just say she put motif. If you don't know the definition to it, you don't even know what to go and look in the questions to find.
Okay. Anything else that you want to capitalize on? What about your overall learning experience from the class?
Don't miss no days.
Okay.
Because you would get so far behind. You'll think you ain't far behind, but you would get so far behind, and it'll take you a minute to catch up. Whatever your teacher give you, read over it. Do all your work on time. Because don't never get behind. If you get behind, it's going to take you forever to get caught up. Just don't miss no days. No days at all. Because you would get messed up. Because I did. I missed days and I got so far behind. And I'm just catching up and it's the end of the school year. And every book she give you, read it because it's going to be on your AP test. it's really gonna be on your AP test. They're gonna pick books similar to it, and you're gonna need to know.
So far, what you've told me is that practice,
Yep.
reading, and applying the concepts is pretty much sticking to the subject is some of the things that can help better you when taking your AP exams. And as far as attendance, you said that that's very important because
Yes,
you can
attendance,
get
okay.
far behind. What was maybe one of your favorite stories of the year?
I say A Dollhouse. I like this story better than everything because the best story I did not like was Frankenstein. I did not like this story.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein?
Yes, I did
Why?
I did not like it.
Did it have any of the motifs in it?
Yes, it had plenty of motifs.
Okay, what are some?
It got the good versus evil because that's what happened in there. It had death, survival, because he was trying to survive.
Was he ever angry?
Yes, he was always angry. Violence, this relating to killing because he did that.
Okay, what was the essential theme of Frankenstein? Where was it? Where did it take place?
It took place in back. I think it was the 1800s. It took place in the 1800s. It was Frankenstein. He built another. He built a monster.
Okay, so Frankenstein is not the monster.
No.
Okay, I never knew that. Okay,
Frankenstein is not the monster. He built the monster.
Okay,
They
so
started killing
Frankenstein built a killing machine, pretty much.
Yes.
So I would think that there was some dark settings in there too, maybe, huh?
Yeah, dark.
Okay.
And the dark ones dealing with motifs. Because you know, motifs deal with darkness.
Okay.
Just like the example I gave, a tunnel through the darkness. Like, he felt alone. So that's how people feel like they're in darkness when they feel alone.
Okay. So darkness can also symbolize like depression and
Yes.
such feelings as that.
And tragedy. He went through things. He had to go through depression and all that to make him even build a monster to start killing people. He didn't feel love. He didn't ever feel love. He didn't feel accepted. And with accepted, that's dealing with things.
Okay.
So he didn't ever feel love.
Okay, so overall, your experience in this class was?
It was a good experience. It taught me a lot. It taught me how to get prepared for college. It taught me how to turn work in on time, due dates. It taught me everything. I think it got me prepared for college.
Okay, you think it has maybe prepared you for college as well as everyday life?
Yes, it prepared me for everyday life too. Don't procrastinate on things. Get your things done. It taught me a big thing with procrastinating because if you procrastinate, you can't really do everything at the last minute. When you do things at the last minute, it always some end up wrong. Never procrastinate in class, never. And I liked the stories we read. The stories helped us. And then, I don't know if I told you about the literary devices / terms.
Okay, what are literary devices?
They are dialect, drama, essays, flashback, free verse, foreshadowing, figure of speech, falling action, homophone, half rhyme, eternal rhyme, lyric poem, myth, narrative poem with sonic, sound devices, suspense, treasure heroes, verse, exploratory essay, flat character, anti-hero.
Okay, and what was your favorite literary device of the semester?
Treasure hero. I like it.
Okay, so you really have a love for tragedies.
Yeah, some of the books we read, well, most of all the books we read had a tragedy in it.
Okay. So, what advice would you offer to a future student for AP?
Advice. Like I said, be at class every day. Study. Do every assignment you get so you won't have a failing grade. And Make it on time. Listen to your teacher. Because for Miss Cole Future students, she don't play about her work. She gonna want y'all to be there every day. She will call y'all mom and check and see if y'all there. She will do all this. She care for her students. She love y'all to have fun in there. She ain't gonna just be no hard teacher that's gonna tell y'all what not to talk and all that. She don't play by phones. Don't take out phones in her class. But you'll like her. You'll have a good time with her. She a good teacher. She gonna teach you everything you need to know.
Okay, well, Miss Maya, I thank you for sitting down with me to tell me more about your literary devices and the things that you have learned this year in AP. What is this, AP English?
AP Lit.
AP Literature.
So,
Okay, I love literature. Did y'all read any Beowulf or?
Yes, we read Beowulf. That's dealing with Grundle and all that. Yes, we read that. It was like, I think the first or second book we read.
Okay. All right, well, like I said, I enjoyed sitting here listening to you.
And thank you for watching this, and I hope it helped you in your future.